At the very end of Demon Slayer, we approach the final battle. The final battle of Muzan. Muzan, the very end game boss, the one that we've been building to this entire time. And as the sun soon approaches its height and Muzan's defeat is imminent, we know that this is the end. Or at least that's what we thought it truly was. We truly thought it was completely over. Muzan reforming back into a baby, basically trying to put layers and layers of skin in between him and the sun that would soon, very soon, destroy him. Now, with all of that said, Muzan would slowly but surely burn to a crisp, but there's one person that he absorbed, one person that he was now feeding all of his blood to, and that's the one, the only, Tanjiro Kamado. Now, we all know what occurred. Tanjiro would come out of that and would be completely different. Completely and utterly different. Arm begins to turn, more or less regenerating itself as his arm breaks into its brand new skin, and his eye reforms and veins pop out. And now we know Tanjiro has entered the realm of being a demon, even though every last demon there was already dead. So this is why I decided to make this video. I'd loved that ending. Not everything after, the ending, that specific ending of Demon Slayer. Tanjiro coming full circle. He was the Demon Slayer this entire time, and then he became the demon. But not only a demon, the king of them all. He wasn't like Muzan. He wasn't like the king of all pop, Muzan Kibutsuchi. No, he was different. Tanjiro can feel the sun rays burn through his body, but then it stopped. Tanjiro's body regenerated, and he was surely immune to the sun. Not only was Tanjiro immune to the sun, he would obviously be immune to getting his head cut off. We all know what eventually happens. What happens is that the friends that Tanjiro made along the way get to him. His sister, who's recently cured and become human once again, reach him, and they eventually give him a cure via the one and only Kanao, his, well, love interest. But what if that didn't happen? What if Tanjiro actually stayed the king of all the demons? What would have occurred in the story of Demon Slayer after the fact, and what would have occurred in that moment? Well, this video is not going to be super long, I'll be the first to admit that, but I want to talk about two different scenarios that could have possibly occurred because Tanjiro became the king of all demons and stayed that way forever. Okay, number one, for starters, there's a good chance that Tanjiro just eliminates all of his friends and loved ones. We might get a battle of the absolute ages that leads Inosuke, Kanao, and all the beat up Hashira that are even alive at this moment to stand on their 2 feet once again to take on the person they call friend. Friend turned to foe, now needing to strike him down. Giyu himself says that he needs to cut off Tanjiro's head to kill him, but we all know that this would have not killed Tanjiro. The only way would have been the cure. But when Kanao comes in to cure Tanjiro utilizing what is left over from the cure itself, but when she does, she's slapped away, it shatters on the ground, and there goes their last chance to save him. Tanjiro's last chance to truly survive as a human is over. Tanjiro could possibly, in one version of this story, proceed to destroy and kill every last person in front of him. It's a very sad idea, but Tanjiro would kill Nezuko, kill Inosuke, kill Kanao, and Giyu Tomioka, and every single person that would come after. Every last one would die. And as soon as every last person, every single one, was killed and done away with, his sanity would slowly but surely be stripped away from him. There is no mind that is left. There is no Tanjiro, no remnants of the young boy that was there. The one that everyone loved. The one that believed could carry on the hopes of so many demon slayers. Tanjiro's mindset, his sanity, would slip away. Because soon, even if he did come to his senses, he would realize that he's killed all of the people he's loved so much. His senses would then shut down, take over, and the one and only Muzan would come to the surface once again. If most of you have seen My Hero Academia, you have seen All for One and Shigaraki fight over control of the body of Shigaraki, and this is somewhat similar. Muzan would fight over control of the body of Tanjiro, and eventually he would get control. And then the age of a brand new, the age of the demons who walk in the sun, or honestly, sun-walking demons, would begin. Tanjiro, not being the person he once was, would fall dormant within his own body, as the one and only Muzan would continue on his reign of terror. Every last demon would be dead. But now that Muzan has more or less conquered the sun, he can do whatever he wants. Turn the entire world into demons themselves, or just live forever. Conquer everything. Live in the political limelight. Every single ruler that ever existed, he could be that. As time would travel throughout this area and this world he now will build by his own hands, he will live through it all. The face may never change, but the person is always the same, because Muzan would take over everything. Muzan would take the body of Tanjiro, live in eternal life, and would never die. Even throughout technological periods of time. Even throughout the literal death of the entire earth, Muzan would still be there and waiting. Waiting and waiting. And not only just waiting, but conquering. Conquering everything. As his demons, or even humans that believe he's some sort of god, would continue to follow him. Tanjiro would be the reason why Muzan can carry on his life, carry on decades of domination, centuries, and maybe even longer than that. Thousands of years of domination, of conquering, because of Tanjiro, because of his absorption, and because he wasn't strong enough to awaken out of that state. But now, with all that said, you may be wondering, what is the second version of these events? What would have happened in the second version of What If Tanjiro Stayed the Demon King? And here it is. Tanjiro is still fighting Nezuko, Inosuke, and Gyu Tomioka, but same thing happens. The cure would shatter, and everything would go away, and everybody would be in complete shock and awe. What are they supposed to do? They don't know. They don't know. They can't stop him. They can't fight him. But then out of nowhere, he would toss all of them to the side. Tanjiro would begin to go dormant, as if he's not screaming, not yelling, not anything. His entire body would go back to normal, as he would stand up straight, and he would look out to everybody that's in front of him, all of his friends, family, future loved ones, and everything in between. He would look at them all, and he would say he won. His eyes would flicker and look very similar to Nezuko's when she conquered the sun themselves. He says that Muzan is now put away, dead, and that part of him that was holding on to hope, Muzan, that part of him was holding on to hope to somehow conquer the will of Tanjiro, failed, because all of his family pushed him up towards the light, towards the control, and now he conquers the destiny of his own body. They all sit there wondering what he wants to do, and Tanjiro would tell them that, well, there's nothing to be done, that they need to not worry about him. They need to live a beautiful life, a life that they can enjoy, a life that they can truly be okay with. But they talk about the fact that they can still cure him. They could still change everything, still make him the human he wants to be. And he says maybe in due time, but just not the lifetime that they live. Because they don't need to be worrying about him anymore. They've done that just enough. And now it's time for Tanjiro himself, a demon at that, to not just be the king of the demons, but truly help those in need. He tells them that he now has the strength, the power that Muzan so wanted for so long, but now he can use it for good. Now he can truly utilize all of his powers to help those in need, those terminally ill, hoping to hold on to the string of life that they so choose, and so on and so forth. Those who believe their loved ones still could live on throughout this life. Maybe it's an odd way of curing, but it's a way in fact. We know that demons can be good, that they know that they can go to the afterlife and live with their families, don't need to go through the depths of hell itself. You can live a good life in the afterlife as long as you don't kill or eat human beings. Tanjiro knows that he doesn't have to do so, and others will be taught the same. Now, if they decide to be disobedient, well, Tanjiro must do what he has to do, and if that means he has to walk through the fiery depths of hell itself, or the fiery depths of punishment in the afterlife, then so be it. Tanjiro understands that if he himself decides, well, that he needs to bring this upon himself to more or less make sure everything goes smoothly, that he'll have to deal with the consequences. Because at the end of the day, no good deed will ever go unpunished. So if that's the case, it has to happen. Of course, everyone around him would be sad, not wanting for Nezuko, her brother, of course, not wanting for her own brother to take on this burden of responsibility. Same thing with Kanao and many others, believing that they could still help, that they don't deserve to live the life that Tanjiro says if Tanjiro's not living it beside them. But Tanjiro says that he refuses to change any of them into demons because they've done enough, that they can live this life till its end, and at the very end of it all, maybe if they want to change and live forever to help as many people as possible, they can do that. But if they see the light and see all the other people they love dearly, well, maybe they'll make the choice to go with them instead, and he'll see them in a life to come. He's sad about this, obviously, because this means that even though he may live and may go on to live a good life with Kanao and many others of the Demon Slayers, once it's time for them to drift off into the light, into the afterlife that they so choose to go to, he will be all alone for a very, very long time. But like I said, no good deed ever goes unpunished, and that's exactly what Tanjiro needs to go through. Tanjiro would go years, decades, centuries of helping people that are sick, people that need the assistance, and creating demons that are good, creating these demons that learn to not feed off of humans, but gain their strength in a natural way, where they can live in a world where both demons and humans can prosper. And after a very long time, after years and years of waiting, Tanjiro would be reintroduced into the people that he so holds dear to his life. The people that have been reincarnated as his sister Nezuko, Kanao, Giyu Tomioka, and many others that have been thinking about him in the afterlife. Reincarnation is a hell of a thing, and he would meet them once again. But the vicious cycle would continue. Eventually, Tanjiro would be left alone with his thoughts, alone with everybody that needs help, and eventually Tanjiro would see them again and again and again. But there's always time in between where he feels the most alone he's ever been. Tanjiro sacrificed himself in this world. Tanjiro sacrificed himself by staying the Demon King so everyone else doesn't have to feel the true pain of what demons brought all those hundreds of years ago. And that is exactly the person that Tanjiro is, even if his good deed did go punished. Now with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the What If. This was What If Tanjiro stayed the Demon King, and if you enjoyed these two different scenarios, well, as always, I hope you did. Make sure to leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All of that good stuff. And frankly, if you want to see more stuff like this, where it's a little bit more storytelling and a little bit more of me going a little bit in a different direction, because this is very fan fiction-y, because, I mean, obviously we don't actually know what would have happened if he stayed the Demon King, then let me know. Let me know if you want to see more like this, and if you enjoy stuff like this. Now, I'm going to be quiet, because I'm going to send y'all off, but I hope y'all have an amazing day. Later.